Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between me and Krafty here on Metalopolis. This game is from Battle.net StarCraft 2 Phase 2 of the beta, which is about to close. I'm casting this game on Sunday before the Monday. Opening up with the standard good luck, have fun. And I think this is just one of those games where I wanted to address it. He asked me if I'm Terran, and he goes, yeah. And this is something that I see a lot from a lot of players where he says good luck, no fun, and I think he's already in the mindset that he's gonna lose. Now, as a player, you always have to always believe that you have a chance to win. Blizzard has tried their best in order to balance out all the matchups, and really. And really, I don't think there's any true race that is really broken at this stage. I think there are some matchups that are harder or easier for some players, but really, there's nothing that blatantly says, you know, this game is entirely broken and a Zerg player can never beat a Terran player. So, for all of you guys out there, if you guys have not been exposed to the game yet, make sure whenever you go into a game, just believe that you have a chance to win. Go at it with that mindset, thinking that, hey, you know what, I can do this. You know, Blizzard knows what they're doing. The game is fairly balanced, and let me see what I can do. So now currently you see Krafty just running around with one SCV here, and now he's going to be going in for a very, very aggressive two hatchery play. So as a Zerg player, a two hatchery play is a very big risk, especially on a close spawn here on Metalopolis. He does not have a 14 spawning pool, so if he does try to go for a spawning pool, he may be able to luck out, get a little bit ahead, but he does not have a very strong, he doesn't have a very strong economy, or he's going to have a strong economy, but he doesn't have a really strong army by any means. You can see his spawning pool is coming down, and as my barracks is already training up the first Marine, if I had tried to go for any Reaper harassment or any very early aggressive play, then he would have been in a lot of trouble. Already you can see a drone now coming in as this Marine now tries to come on out, perhaps do a little bit of scouting, try to figure out what exactly Krafty is up to. Krafty now getting that first spawning pool down. You can take a look at the unit tab, and Krafty is not even really saving up any larva. This is another really interesting play. Krafty, when as a Zerg player, you really have to save up a lot of larva just in case your early expansion is exposed. If your early expansion is exposed, I could have calmed down, dropped down a bunker with one of my Marines. With a SCB, and then just started trying to shoot away and take it down with my Marines and my Marines, or even a Reaper. But because I didn't play with that early aggression, there's no way I could really know. Krafty now going to be able to start training up queens, and once a Zerg player has their queens, they can lay down a couple early creep tumors and really just and really be able to handle any sort of Reaper harassment, as queens are fairly fast on creep. Zerglings are also very fast on creep as well, making Reapers fairly useless, as Reapers need to really kite their units in order to essentially deal any real damage over here. So now I'm just training up even further, trying to train up more Marines, and also throwing down a starport and getting a reactor as well. I'm going to do a tech lab swap or a reactor swap on this starport in order to get some early Vikings. Vikings very strong against a Zerg player, just because Overlords are just so easy to take down with Vikings. 4 Vikings and 2 rounds of attack, you can take down an Overlord, and because Overlords move so slowly and Vikings are just so versatile, you can really start to supply lock a Zerg unit very easily in this game. Now you can already see an Overlord now moving into my base, and I was thinking about moving away with try to take down this Overlord, but I was concerned that these Zerglings were going to try to go ahead and push on in, so I do a little bit of a tech lab swap, or sorry, add-on swap here. Now going to start training up, I believe, a Medevac and a Viking, trying to get a very strong harassment play. If I can get a group of Marines with Stimpack and Medevac, 8 Marines with Stimpack are very strong. You can see now Krafty going for a very defensive play, as well as he has 1 Queen and a whole bunch of Overlords sitting here trying to get up into tier 2. Doesn't even have roaches. And he's not really going for any really sort of aggressive plays. So I don't understand, as a Zerg player, how he feels that Terran is just the absolute best race, or Terran's such a hard race to match up against, especially when he hasn't really shown any signs of aggression, or he isn't really playing that defensively He's not very playing that conservatively, going for a very early hatchery, and now finally getting that second extractor, but his overlord now going to get taken down there. So down goes one overlord. So this Viking now with 1 kill on the hunt for even more. You can see a Roach Warren now in play as this queen going to come over to try to shoot down that Viking. So that queen also attacks very quickly, able to deal 9 damage against one of those Vikings, and also the queen has a range of, I believe, 7. Yeah, so a range of 7, very far. I believe equivalent to what was that? A missile turret in terms of fighting. Now also a couple of Zerglings sitting down over here. Going to go ahead and drop these Vikings and try to deal with those Zerglings so they don't do any sort of run by. And you can see the army tab. I'm seeing it at 950 versus Krafty's 475. So going to move out with the Marauder. Going to drop some Marines, and perhaps able to deal enough damage here. So going to go ahead and fight here. One of my Marines getting taken down, and now one of those Zerglings getting taken down, and now I have a full cargo of medevac Marines and Vikings to try to deal with any sort of harassment. So you can already see Krafty has 2 spine crawlers up here and no spine crawler down here, also getting a Hydralisk then. Vikings now going into that ground mode. Vikings with an attack speed of 1 and also a damage of 12, able to deal a significant amount of damage in all of these fights. So Marauder, one of those roaches, taking a fair amount of damage and now trying to take down some more of this, using stim, trying to heal back up, trying to use these Vikings in that ground mode to try to deal as much damage as I can. Marauders, Marines coming in, and you can see that those Vikings are coming in to do more of an engagement as well. One of the spine crawlers already very low on hit points, and those roaches just continuing to move back and forth. Perhaps I'll able to. I just want to try to keep as much early aggression as I can, as all of these units from Krafty are very low on hit points. So Vikings now going to go ahead and jump back up into the air, and now I'm going to try to take down some of these, some of those overlords. Now unable to really get there because now he has a large army of Hydralisks. So we're going to go ahead and drop back down into the ground mode, but now come in with siege tanks and Marauders. So we're going to go ahead and here's the engagement here. Vikings in that ground mode. Hydralisk unable to really escape there, and more units just taking damage back and forth. 2 spine crawlers trying to attack as well, but really the Vikings and these Marauders that are constantly being healed is going to be too much. You can see that both sides are taking damage, and even though I'm taking damage faster than my opponent is, and because he's not going to have much more of an army left here, I'm going to be able to just come in and sneak in with 2 of these Marauders. Those Marauders able to take down that Hydralisk. Hydralisk now taking down. Siege Tank can go ahead and siege up, and really just using a small skeleton crew of an army from Terran, able to move in with a 1 siege tank, 2 Marauders, and that is essentially it. More Marauders being trained up, being walked on over as well. Hydralisk want to come in here, trying to get in a little bit of an engagement, taking down that medevac, but losing a couple Hydralisks in that exchange as well. Also a queen now getting quickly taken down there as those Marauders able to continue to fight even further. Zerglings going to try to come down, try to get us around. Hydralisk going to be coming over. Production tab, you can see Hellions and more Marauders coming in. Viking coming into the air fight to try to take down some of these overlords, as that last roach there gonna get taken down finally by that last Marauder. Viking gonna go ahead and just continue to lay down, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to set up my natural expansion over here. You can see Krafty now setting up an expansion over here on the bottom right hand and starting to mine long distance. I'm not quite sure why you would mine long distance from one side of the map to the other, especially when this hatchery is already up. I think he miscalculated just a little bit too late, as more and more of these units are now coming in, losing a lot of these drones here, and Krafty leaves the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay here on Metalopolis. For Krafty, Krafty, you did a great job that whole entire fight. I think you left the game a little bit early. You could have gone the Hydralisk. I think if you got the Screw Spine upgrades, it would have been a much different game. Just because my Vikings were getting free shots on you, from my Vikings and my Marauders were getting free shots on you because your Hydralisk were unable to attack back. The difference between a range of 6 and a range of 5. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this shoutcast brought to you by LU Computers. Go ahead and check out their website. They have a bunch of computers that are StarCraft tested and ready on the top right-hand side of their webpage.